Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We come from the mountains at Park City, Utah here, and we're going to head down momentarily to our good friend Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to Buddy Monday through Thursday, about 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live. It's game week. We'll continue talking. We'll have Edgar Thompson also from the Orlando Sentinel join us tomorrow. We'll have JC. We'll do some picks for the Thursday night games, Peachland Dental picks. We'll also have Mike Morgan from ESPN and the SEC Network, who does great work. We'll kind of go around the league and around the nation and get his thoughts. But let's go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by Buddy Martin. Good morning, Buddy. How are you?
Good morning. This show's getting too big time for me. I don't know if I can keep up with this pace, this new opening, all these stars, and I'm just.
You like my opening, Buddy?
I do like it. It was really slick.
Could you hear it?
I missed this one just now. I heard yesterday's. My audio went off, but I want to hear it again. I know it's going to be great.
I think today, yesterday we had Sean Kelly doing it. I think today was Mick Hubert.
Oh, boy, I'm sorry I missed that. I'll do the replay. My audio went down just as you came on. But no, that's great. Well, hey, listen, I can tell you got your game face on, Jack. You're getting kind of jacked up here. Hey, it's a big day for you too, pal.
I'm excited. Real quick, we got a Facebook Live here from John. A shout out to Evan saying he did an awesome job with the new opening, but he needs new highlights at the end. I think when it comes to highlights, maybe we could raise hell like the PGA Tour players. It's hard to find highlights because if you put certain things on, they can't put any of my NFL highlights on here because it'll shut Facebook down my page, which is it's ridiculous. So anyway, Greg says he couldn't hear it. Maybe, I don't know, Greg, maybe it's your deal. But before we jump into the Gators, I meant to bring this up the other day. Do you know one of the most amazing stats I've ever heard pertains to NFL preseason?
Okay.
Can you believe the Baltimore Ravens have won 24 straight preseason games?
Wow, I did not know that. It's the biggest stat I know that means nothing. But
it means absolutely nothing. But when if people knew how coaches and players prepare and care about preseason games, that's what blows me away. Because you're so vanilla, you playing multiple people. You don't know who's playing. Like the other team could be playing their starters, and Baltimore could be playing their guys that are going to be looking for a job and going to be a graduate assistant or whatever the next week. But they've won 24 straight preseason games.
Wow, that's an amazing stat.
It is.
I'll tell you, what's more amazing to me is one you dropped on me last week. I'd never heard, not really a stat, but no Spurrier quarterback has ever missed a starting assignment because of an injury.
I'm pretty sure of that.
That is an amazing stat. 12 years worth of this stuff. I don't think any coach in America can say that.
No. And it wasn't like we were big workout guys either.
That's right.
He had two things that were mandatory for us to do. He didn't care if you did anything else.
Yeah.
Jump rope. We had a little jump rope circuit that you would do.
Yeah.
For your feet. And he called them your b-ball tosses. You stand about 3 yards away from a wall, and you do them as fast as you can to strengthen your hand muscles.
Well,
he didn't care about anything else.
That's amazing.
To my fault, I didn't do anything else. I tried to lift for a while. It didn't help me gain any weight. I said, screw it. I'm going to jump rope, and I'm going to do my b-ball tosses. And but that's all he cared about, and none of us got hurt that I'm aware of.
Well, let me tell you a little side note about the b-ball tosses. You might not know this. One of the reasons he got discouraged in South Carolina, I'm not saying this is the reason, He found out he used to keep the basketballs on right there in the gym, whatever. The quarterbacks come out before they go. They got to do 10 bounce passes against the wall to get the wrist, right? Is that what you're talking about? They toss the basketball. All right. He had that as his quarterbacks in South Carolina, and he found out they weren't even doing it. And he got really pissed about it. And he called them out, and they all kind of lied about it. And it kind of got him started getting him discouraged in South Carolina. I'm not saying that's the main reason. It was the same year he wound up resigning. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my Titan MR text line is not working for some reason. But I got another text on my real line here.
Okay.
And this came from Bobby. He wanted to know your thoughts on this. It's kind of long, but he says, why hasn't AR done a press conference this year? We've seen the punter multiple times, but we haven't seen our starting quarterback.
What's his name? Because that's my man right there. What's his
Jeremy
name?
Crenshaw?
No. The guy who wrote that.
Oh, Bobby.
Bobby, you are spot on. I was thinking about it last night, and we've seen Xander. We've seen him. We've had him on. Anthony Richardson hasn't done anything. I think either one interview. He might have been on your show. And we've gotten three guys. I mean, look, I love what Billy's doing, but they got to do better than that. That's just, no coach in the history of Florida football has ever given us so few players at that point in time. Now, there were some guys last week afterwards. We did get Trent and others like that. But no, they got to do better than that. You're absolutely right, Bobby. And Anthony Richardson, if he's the man, Shane, as you know, you got to step up and be the man. You need to sort of get control of some of the dialogue and narrative, and you can't do it by hiding, okay? Don't hide, AR. Please, don't hide. Good job, Bobby. Good job.
Dan says your text line needs an MRI from Titan MRI. Yes, it does. So we're got people looking into that. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Kyle Whittingham says they are relying heavy on what Napier did at Louisiana.
Yeah,
makes sense. Coaches do what they do.
What else they got?
Napier as a head coach hasn't lost a game in 13 opportunities. Louisiana is currently on the 13-game win. They have the longest winning streak in America right now.
I didn't know that. That's a great stat.
Yeah. Andy asks, buddy, if we hold the Utes to 21 points, do we win on Saturday?
Yeah. 24-21. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Well, I think this is going to be like a old school running the football with both teams.
Slobber knockers.
Playing with a bunch of tight ends. And, a lot of it's going to determine how much rain is, if it's raining or what.
Well, its forecast is 58%. Is that right? I don't keep up with that stuff. But I read
it rains so much in Gainesville, it could say it's only 25%, and around 6 o'clock it's going to pour.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah. Look, Florida's supposed to can run the football. We'll see. I think what you'll see a little more flair than you think you're going to. I think there are two coaches like you to think they're going to run the ball down your throat. They're going to have a little something. I just feel that in my bones. And I see a big play or two from Anthony Richardson. Of course, their quarterback ain't too shabby either. So I don't remember. I'm thinking about this, Shane, and I don't mean to lapse off into memory lane here, but this is as big an open. This is the most interest in an opener I can remember in Gator football. And I've seen 50 years of them. This opening game, because we know nothing about the head coach except what we see in the orange and blue game. And we know that Utah is an established team. But I can't. You got to go do a game and broadcast it, and you're going to be learning on the job, pal.
Oh, I'll be fine. What I do ain't real hard.
No, I get it, but don't you feel that part of that knowledge you can't wait to see? We don't know it, you just see it in front of you, and you say, "Yeah, you can make that play."
It's. Ever since I've been a Gator, it's clearly the biggest opener we've ever had.
Yeah.
I know we played Michigan a few years ago out in Dallas, but
not at home. I'm talking about home opener.
Coach Spurrier against Oklahoma State would probably be the second best because the Golden Boy came home. It was his first game, and it went well.
Let's don't forget 1969 now, okay? That was huge, and that was one of the most definitive.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, it was huge, but what was the hype like leading up to it? Because it wasn't a coach's home opener, was it?
No, I can
That's
give
what I'm
you.
saying.
I can give you Ray Gray's home opener. No, but that was there for that. That was actually FSU 3-0. Do that at home, but 69 was such a huge. Here's why it was big. Florida got clobbered by Georgia the year before, 51-0. Nobody knew what to expect, Shane. These guys were both freshmen, and they hadn't played a varsity game. We kept hearing stories and watching them play freshman ball. And Reeves, your guy, John Reeves, who kind of put you in there, was your champion. He was an amazing player, and he had an unbelievable arm. And that play, Reeves Alvarez, it might be the most famous play in Florida football history.
One of them, there's no doubt.
I'm just saying, from my standpoint,
that's a great question for the summertime. The greatest play in Florida football history. There's one that just comes to my mind immediately.
Okay, Spurrier's field goal. Spurrier's field goal.
I'm going by what I actually saw with my own eyes. I didn't see that.
Well, Shane, you're a baby. You haven't seen him in a few years.
Right.
Okay?
Right. But I would say the field goal block against Spurrier's Gamecocks.
That'd be a top 10. Be a top 10.
Because what people forget is they had thrown a slant, I believe, down to about the 4-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a phantom left tackle.
Yep.
Illegal procedure on the left tackle. I don't know if he moved or not.
Yeah.
So
that was a hell of a story. You're right. That was a hell of a play. It was famous. I still go to Reeves Alvarez.
Lauren says the long touchdown throw from Felipe to Tyree Cleveland, which it's a great play, but it didn't mean anything.
No,
I'm going by a game that if you go back in time, if we don't block that field goal, we don't win the national title.
Yeah, there's one other big, huge play you don't even know about, but that was 1960 Ray Graves. And that is the 2-point play where they went for when the quarterback Liberatore threw John Macbeth for a 2-point conversion. With 2-point conversion, by the way, Georgia Tech was 10th in the country, and they upset Georgia Tech on that 2-point play. That famous picture of Ray Graves standing here with go for 2. Nobody knew what that meant. It was brand new. You didn't go for 2, and they made that, and that was crazy. That was be one of my top 10s. The go for 2. That played Liberatore through the John Macbeth against Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Got a text here on not the Titan MR text line, but my text line. We're going to get the Titan MR text line working here shortly. This comes from Frank. Frank says he predicts that 12 Gators will get cut today because the NFL's got to get down to their 53 by 4. Says there are 51 Gators on NFL rosters as of last night.
Okay.
I don't follow it close enough to know who gets cut.
Well, one got cut last night with the Jets.
Who?
Eddie got cut.
I thought he got cut a couple of days ago, didn't he?
Well, I don't know. I just got it. Panera got cut. I don't know. Eddie Panera. I don't know when he got cut, but I just know he got cut this week.
All right. Craig says we have 5 days till kickoff. Number 5, his would be Andre Caldwell. Mine would be Quezzy Green.
Okay.
You don't have a favorite number 5, buddy?
No, those number 5s became later in my life. I go back to the days of the quarterbacks being in, even 9. By the way, you never mentioned number 9 was also Sonny Jurgensen, the team you played for, right?
But you never heard that story, huh?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I have. Maybe you did tell me that story. Yeah,
I'll tell it real quick.
Yeah, please do.
So when the Redskins signed me, what happens is the equipment guy calls you. He's in contact with your former team because basically I played with the same shoulder pads my entire career. So they ship all your stuff to whatever team you're going to, and the equipment guy's like, okay, what number do you want? What size do you wear? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I said I want number 9. He goes, you can't wear number 9. I said, why? It's not retired and it's not on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, well, Sonny does our radio. He was the color commentator back in those days when I played.
Right.
He's like, you're going to have to call Sonny, and we'll see if he'll let you wear number 9.
Wow.
So here's the deal. So I call him. We talk for probably 40 minutes. He's like, man, it would be great to see number 9 back out on the field, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I hang up the phone, call back the equipment guy. I said, Sonny approved it. He says, okay. The very next morning, I'm getting bashed in the Washington Post by Sonny Jurgensen for wanting to wear number 9.
Really?
So I have zero respect for him because all he had to do was say, look, I would rather you not wear number 9.
Mm.
And then I've been okay. But he sat there for 30-something minutes telling me it'd be great, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So I decided to wear an upside down number 9. I wore 6.
Very good. Well played.
So I don't. So now Sonny must have finally convinced them. I've been gone from there he was trying to get them to retire for years.
Yeah.
I played there in 2001.
Yeah.
So they're finally going to retire. So
anyway,
it's it kind of pissed me off.
So Sonny's sort of retired now without permission. Yeah, I remember Sonny I remember when Steve played in the San Francisco game, and I was at. He was in the press box critiquing Steve in his rookie year, saying, "He throws the ball sidearm and whatever, and he's making this around. He can't get much of the ball and whatever." Yeah, you quarterbacks, you got a little thing. Well, anyway, numbers. You're a numbers guy, so what number do you think we're going to be calling on the most on Saturday? I'm getting a little buzzed here. Listen, wait, can you hear it? Can you feel it? Wait a minute, hold it. It's the spirit of the orange and blue blood, Shane. It's rising. It's game week. It's here. I can feel it. Gator Nation is pumped, psyched. You're an orange and blue blood. You've been baptized. Come on, man. Let's go.
But how are you going to baptize all these people, buddy? It'd take you forever.
No, they it's voluntary. They can do it whenever they're ready. They can just raise their chomp like this, and to repeat the words that we talked about. And they're in. Now, the rest of it's up to them. When you join anything, political party, church, temple, whatever you join, and then you figure out what your role is. It's up to them. It ain't up to anybody to tell them what to do. If they're a member of the Orange and Blue Bloods, they'll know what to do. Some will want to do a lot. Some will want to do nothing. You can just be one and do nothing, or you can get involved. And we're having a challenge. Somebody who challenged them to be an orange or blue blood to say the simple thing we said when we baptized you, which is, I believe in the girls and boys from old Florida in all kinds of weather, and I won't back down, chump, and you are in. Up to you to decide what to do with it from there.
All right, I think we got the tightening our text line working for a minute.
Well, thank goodness.
Don't know who this is from. It's from an anonymous texter. He says he believes that number 1 Pearsall will be called a lot if we win. Yeah, he needs to have a big game, no question about it.
Good call.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Let's talk about this game. We won't talk to you until after the game is over next week.
Yeah.
Obviously we all have predictions. We all feel like we know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What does Buddy Martin think about this game?
Yeah. Well, as I already said, I thought it was maybe the most significant opener I can remember in Florida football history for lots of reasons. I don't underestimate Utah. I think their coach is phenomenal. I've followed him for a long time since he's Urban's assistant. He's a solid guy. He's got a well-disciplined team, but a little something going on here right now with this team that I don't want to call it karma because that's a cliche. Unless I miss my feeling, and my feelings I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff, I kind of feel this is a moment that would really be marked in Florida football history if somehow this Florida team can pull off this upset. And we said last night on my show, and you agreed, the best team doesn't always win. And if you don't make mistakes and beat yourself, you got a chance. So I expect proficiency, efficiency. I expect Anthony Richardson to have a big day. I don't think he'll turn it over maybe once or whatever. I think the defense is going to be better than people realize. I respect Utah and their quarterback and what they do. I kind of don't want to call an upset just yet. I don't feel it in my bones. But I think it's going to be a significant game. And even as we said last night, if they lose 31-28, there'll be a lot of folks, even though it's not like we say, we don't believe in moral victories, it will be a statement game. That's what it's a statement game. So I'm not ready to call the upset, but I'm not going to be shocked or surprised if they win it. I just got to see something, Shane. I haven't seen enough to really know. I'm guessing, but I'm feeling pretty good for the Gators right now.
Got a text from Joe in Memphis. He says, "Dear fellow UF fans, let's keep expectations and hopes realistic and not implode through the process. Napier and the staff are killing it recruiting, and we have a total overhaul of the program. Keep that in mind as we welcome a top 10 program week 1 and go Gators."
Pretty
well said.
It's well said, but let me say something to you. You can't tell fans what to say and do. Look, it's like telling your kids at Christmas time, well, don't get excited. That big old package is not a bicycle. They're going to see, they're going to think and see and feel what they want to. Expectations are one thing, wrong information and bad assessments and whatever is another. I think these Florida fans feel something. I think they feel something, and I like to tell you, I think it will make a difference. You noticed yesterday in his press conference that Coach Napier is asking the fans to rally up, get involved, get excited. And as we said last night, Shane, this is his first experience. What's it going to be like for him when they say, "Here come the Gators," and out of they go, and these 90,000 people are going nuts in the stands? What do you think Billy Napier is going to feel? He's going to be buzzed.
He's going to get chills. I can promise you that.
He's going to get chills.
He'll be standing in that tunnel with butterflies in his stomach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Brendan Martin did a wonderful video last year, 5 years ago, of Mullen in the tunnel coming out, which played hundreds. It went viral. He'll be there again Saturday doing the tunnel for Billy Napier. In that moment, it could be a new era of Florida football, not just a new season, a new coach.
Yep. I got a text here. Says the HBC will be introducing his 1966 beer in the swamp this Saturday. Fans can enjoy cold 16-ounce cans of the Head Beer Coach. You like that name? The Head Beer Coach.
I've actually had it. Yeah.
In most concessions, suites, Champions Club, and Touchdown Terrace Bar. I wonder if it tastes like Coors Light.
Of course it does. You know it does. And I'm so proud of what they've done at that restaurant. I mean, that to me is – I know this is not the same thing as a new Heavener Center, but when you put it all together and what an unbelievable recruiting tool Spurrier's is for this school, I mean, there's so many things in that new baseball park. And now, as we talked about, when I talked to Scott Strickland and Chip Howard about the new Ben Hill Griffin, which is already talking about what's it going to be. This is going to be a remarkable facility. It already is, and this Gator Nation is set for a long time to have some great athletics, and I think we're going to see it right here. But I think this football program, I won't say new level because you can't get much higher than 3 national championships. I think the future of Florida football is extremely bright right now.
There's no question. I think the guy in charge has got it going on.
Yeah.
Another text here on the Titan Our text line says they call an upset. If we Gators stop the run, we roll the Utes. I don't know if we're rolling anybody, but stopping the run is my biggest concern.
Shane,
my biggest concern.
Good call. And Shane, do you think it'll be that much of an upset if Florida won?
Yes.
Why? Because they're ranking.
Well, that and I try to remind people it's not like Florida's coming off a 7-5 or 8-4 a year or better.
Right.
They went 6-7. So I mean, most of the but what I'm saying is in most of the polls, these rankings, Florida's like 35th, 40th in America. Okay. So I understand that, but you asked me a question. Do I think it's an upset? Absolutely, it would be an upset.
Yeah, but Shane, let me just say this. I hate to go back to be the old guy with old history. But 1969, they're coming off a 51-0 licking by Georgia, and we didn't know it, but Coach Grace had agreed to step down. They go out and beat Houston and have their best record in history, win the Gator Bowl game. Win the over Tennessee. And I think there's a relevance, but it's not that much. I think if he fixes the mistakes from last year, this team it's a different time. I'll throw out last year. It was a bad year for a lot of reasons. I don't think it's comparable. I think this team is playing off not last year, but the future of Florida football.
Well, I don't think Billy brings up much of last year other than the penalty. Marshall says it will be a huge upset. He says that on Facebook.
It's a 2.5 point game, Shane. How can it be a huge upset?
I mean, I just saying.
No, I was asking, how could it be a huge upset?
Look, put it this way: if we were playing out there or on a neutral site, it'd be a 12 or 14.
Okay, well then there'd be a different game. It wouldn't be the same. It would be, but right now
that would even be more of an upset. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm hoping and thinking we have a chance to win this game.
Oh, they do.
Mainly because of where it's being played.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that does affect it. What do you think? It's worth 6 points, 6.5 points, probably at least.
I don't know. Ask your buddy.
I asked him tomorrow night. Danny Sure will be on tomorrow night. I'll ask you about that. He told me last Thursday night it was 1.5 point game. Last Thursday night now, because it's probably up to 2.5 by now. That kickoff it might be 4. I don't know. But I'm not a gambler.
I would say 99% of the people in America, whether they're Gator fans or not, if Florida wins, they would call it a big upset.
Okay. Well,
a lot of people think this Utah team, if they do beat Florida, will play in the 14 playoff. So we'll see. Lauren says here on Facebook Live, and I agree 110% when he says Utah is pretty good, folks. You better buckle up, and that's true. You better buckle up.
I agree with Lauren. We've talked about that. Lauren will be on tonight, by the way, on my show. And I agree. It would be. I'm just saying it's certainly not a huge upset if they win. It's an upset, but I mean, look, I've seen a lot bigger, and it's a significant win, and would be considered somewhat of an upset. But a 2.5 point game to me can never be a huge upset.
Yeah, maybe not. There's two keys to this game. It's very simple. The front seven has to play at a high level.
Yeah.
And Anthony needs to be consistent.
Yeah, agree. There's one other thing, Shane. In a game like this, how do you know this game won't be decided by, I'll throw it out, Trey Smack on a field goal? We don't even know who he is. But he
could be. I don't know if he's going to be our kicker.
I don't know who it is, but we don't know. There's so much we don't know. But think of this game could be a Jeremy Crawshaw punt or whatever. It could be a simple it could be a player we hadn't even thought of. Could be the difference maker. I don't know. I'm just saying this is a lot we don't know. It's exciting. I'm telling you, Gator fans are getting jacked on this. I even sense a little. I got a little sense of you. I don't see you get this kind of edgy this often, and you got a little edge going to you right now, which is good. You're getting close to game day. I can see you.
I'm excited. I mean, there's nothing better than the pregame warm-ups and all the hype and everything, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. Like I said, I kind of wish we were not playing Utah in his opener.
Yeah,
but it's going to make it fun. It's going to make it fun. I think
Billy said yesterday that playing a really good opponent gets you ready for the season. There's no time to waste. It's going off now. Get yourself ready. Don't jump off sides. Play your game, stay focused, get your mind set right. Here's another thing Franz brought up last night. Since December, since Christmas, other than the minor incident with Anthony Richardson, have you seen any players getting in trouble with the law?
No.
What does that tell you?
He has his pulse on the program. There's no question. Robert says on Titan our text line, if we win, I hope Billy keeps the boys from getting big-headed. Bigger game versus Kentucky next week. He'll keep them level-headed. That's the issue. Is I think I've said it on this show. Highly regarded person. I don't know how to phrase it. He's like, Billy's in a bad situation right now. You beat Utah. The Gator Nation thinks you're going to win the SEC or go play for the national title. You could easily lose to Tennessee and Kentucky. You lose to Utah. People are like, oh, here we go again, another one of those years. But you could easily turn around and beat Kentucky and Tennessee. So there's a lot out there.
So Coach Spurrier said that, huh?
No, Coach Spurrier didn't say that.
Okay.
It wasn't him.
Sounds like him.
No. Real quick, we got another text from – who is this from?
So wait now, is the text MRI hotline working now, or is this the Shane hotline?
It is. This is on my text line, though.
Okay.
This comes from the person that we all know here. He says, if the Gators upset the Utes, the HBC should provide free cans of head beer coach to all the fans to celebrate. Well, we all know that the head ball coach ain't giving any free head beer cans to anybody.
No. Nobody's getting anything free. You got to pay for it. Yep, for sure.
All right, we got one last thing before we get you out of here, buddy.
And no Rory from you at all.
Yeah,
no comments at all, my gosh.
No, I'm going to get to that. Devin says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mullen Law. So watch the Utah coach presser last night. Mm-hmm. What do y'all think about Mullen telling him about the flaws and how to attack the players he recruited? I mean, they coach together. That's what coaches do. Coaches call each other, and they that's just what they do.
Well, if Dan Mullen knew, he'd still be here.
Well, yeah, but I get it. Yeah, I mean, that's just – I have high school coaches call me about kids that I trained or I know. I mean,
yeah,
that's just what coaches do. All right, real quick, because we got Edgar waiting.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy, unbelievable golf. Unbelievable. Did you see his quote yesterday?
Which one?
It said something about, man, it sure was nice to take the lead on hole number 70 instead of hole number 52.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was they tried to give it to each other, didn't they? At the end, him and Scheffler. They butchered the last hole. But you know what? It's a great thing for golf. The Rory's become the people's champion. All of a sudden, he's kind of like man who saved the PGA Tour. I mean, whatever you want to say. That was a tremendous moment. And he's a popular guy. He's got a big following. It's good for PGA Tour golf and good for Rory. By the way, ask Edgar what percentage of questions does he think he asked at a press conference? And he asked good ones, don't get me wrong. Because we were talking last night, Billy only allows you about maybe 8 or 10 questions maximum. And he's earned it, by the way. Edgar gets the first 2 and the last one. If you get 10 questions, that's 30% of all the questions that get asked.
So you're saying Edgar hogs all the questions?
No, he deserves it. Does a great job. But think about it. You only get like maybe 10. That's what guys ask you too. And some people, I mean, France always gets his in there. That's fine. But Edgar's the man now. He's like the White House press corps. They used to have a woman who always asked the first question. He asked the first and the last. So he's Mr. Gator football. He's Mr. Billy Napier. He's the guy you want a question asked. Talk to Edgar. He's got his ear.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
All right.
See you on the press box.
Good luck to you. Come see me. Come down and see the peons in the press box.
I will do that. That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to take a quick time out. Come back. Be joined by Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel, talking Gators. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Escape Apologies, Sushi Hana, Regal Cinemas, Kilwins, Le Macaron, Prime and Pearl, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. Going to head back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by the beat writer. I guess he's a beat writer. Is that what they call him these days for the Orlando Sentinel, covering the Gators? Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So hold on. So what's this behind you? Park City? What do you got?
Yeah. So here's what I do. I'm so creative, Edgar.
Yeah,
I do my shows from now leading up to the game. Then I'll travel back and head to the press box. But we're gonna have a visual and be coming to you live from somewhere of where we're playing. So we were on the campus the other day. We've moved about 40 miles outside the city to Park City, Utah. Going to do a little skiing this afternoon.
I have been going to Park City since I was 18. I haven't gone in 15 years now. We had a timeshare there. So every March, spring break at Park City for years. My dad finally gave the place up. And then I covered, as I think I brought up on here, I used to cover New Mexico. People know that who've watched this. So I've been to Provo, Salt Lake City, tons. It's a great area. We were talking about that last week, weren't we?
And I meant to look. Do we go out there next year?
Yes.
I thought so.
It's a gorgeous spot. It really is one of my favorite cities in the country. It's funny, Las Vegas, San Diego, some good trips in the Mountain West travel footprint. But Fort Collins and Salt Lake City were my two favorite places to go. They're beautiful areas. So anyway,
it'll be interesting when we head out there. I do know I was on the I can't remember his name. The play-by-play guy has a radio show out in Salt Lake City. I was on his show yesterday. He says they have 12 to 15,000 fans that have bought tickets that'll be here.
That's what I heard.
I told them they better start drinking water right now.
Yeah, they drink 3.2 beer out there, so they should be all right. But I was actually emailing Steve McLean this morning to ask him about that because I saw 12K expected. Seems like a lot. I don't know how UF tracks that. Excuse me. But they do have an allotment, and I don't know what it is. So I'm going to find out because I think that's worth reporting. It's nuts. I'm seeing on Twitter, my timeline, people are already getting to town.
Yeah, they're going to be excited. I told them this will be a trip they'll remember the rest of their lives. They're never, I don't know if they've ever been to an SEC venue. And the play-by-play did some stuff in Jacksonville for a long time or lived there. So he agreed with me. This will be the best trip the Ute fans will ever take. Edgar, before we jump into the Gators,
yep.
Buddy wants to know why and how you get the first question and the last question of every Billy Napier press conference.
Buddy Martin?
Yeah, he was giving you a hard time about it.
Yeah, I saw he was on here, and then he just bailed he waved, but I thought we were gonna have two guys on here. I don't know, man. I mean, I've been here a long time, but yeah, I was actually surprised I got the first question. I wasn't prepared because he hadn't been calling on people. And I asked him kind of a big picture question he didn't want to dig in on, but it's amazing to think, Shane, that next Monday, will be 9 months since Billy Napier was introduced. So it just shows you how small that window of college football is, yet the attention is year round now. So it's kind of it's a crazy sport that way. You get like 3-4 months if you have a really good year, and that's it. So you spend a lot of time preparing, training. I mean, the sport, but it's just
it's crazy.
When you think about that, it's like this guy's been here 9 months. He still hasn't played a game.
I mean, football, like I said it earlier with Buddy, you train, you meet, you do so much stuff, and you only have 12 games. Could be more, but you only do it 12 times. I mean, think about the time, the days, the weeks, the months that are put in for just 12 times to suit up. And that's why I argued and bitched and complained to these people that said the kids quit on the coaches last year. That's the biggest nonsense I ever seen. You only get to do it so many times in your career. You better do it hard, go hard every time you have an opportunity. All right, Edgar. I mean, it's getting closer to game time. We all know. I mean, obviously, we know Utah's a good football team. Just being around the kids, y'all aren't there often, but you go out to practice a little bit. Just the vibe of the team. What can you tell our listeners?
Yeah, and there's not going to be any more access this whole season, which is interesting in terms of viewing. So we're going to be showing up on Saturdays and probably finding out certain guys maybe aren't playing. So it's going to be kind of interesting. That happened with Dan, but a lot of that was COVID. But anyway, that's where we are. The players, we got a few players yesterday. The energy, they seem determined, man. They feel like last year was an embarrassing year. It was. You used to lose to UCF, which you kind of called out a few years ago, Scott Strickland. I mean, you weren't willing to give him an even home and home. I get it. Circumstances played into that loss, but you still lost to UCF. So, and you finished 6-7. That's not the Gator standard, as Dan always said, called it. And it's well below it. So they're determined, but you're walking into a potential buzzsaw opening opponent. This is a very difficult opening game. Top 10 highest ranked team in Utah history out of the gate. We talked last week about some of the issues. You enlightened me about their tight end situation. I mean, Brant Keith, I think that's how you might say it, and Dalton Kincaid combined for 86 catches, Shane, 11, 21, and 14 scores. That's their tight ends. Mm-hmm. They have a running back, Tavion Thomas, 1,108, 21 touchdowns. You have a quarterback, 20-5 TD interception ratio. Plus, he rushed for almost 500, 6.7 a carry, and 6 touchdowns. It's a lot of offensive production back.
And he missed I think he missed the first 3 or 4 games, right?
Well, but Charlie Brewer, the Baylor transfer, I think beat him out. And then it didn't go well, and they moved him in there, and he lost. I think he won, 10 of 11 or something, Cameron Rising. The point being, this is a very tough offense, and we know Kyle Whittingham's already is a defensive coach. So it's gonna be interesting. The OC is Andy Ludwig, who used to be up there at Vandy, who wasn't great at Vandy, but he didn't have much to work with. But he's got something to work with now. And Napier praised Ludwig. So I don't know. I mean, it's a big ask. I mean, the Gators haven't lost a home opener since '89 to Ole Miss. And that was that was right before Spurrier. I mean, that's when Galen got fired midseason and Gary Darnell took over. And the last coach to lose his first game here, Shane, you know who it is?
The last coach to lose his opener.
His first game of his career at Florida.
Ray Graves.
Charlie Pell.
Oh, Charlie. That's right, Charlie Pell.
And, that was began the most notorious era in Florida football. So there's a lot of these first and historical things that Billy probably don't want to be a part of, but you're playing number 7 in the nation. And they're favored. You're a home dog. So I picked the Gators to win on our podcast, Mark Long and my podcast. Mark Long is thinking the Florida's going to get hit in the mouth. And this is going to be a very physical game, and the Gators aren't going to win. So it's an interesting opening. It's much more fun for us, at least, than going and covering Charleston Southern and watching Felipe throw 5 touchdowns the first half. And just it's boring.
Yeah. Chris says here on Facebook Live, I think he commented earlier about Utah's DBs. He says they will look like midgets compared to our wideouts. They're 5'10", 5'11". That's kind of standard across the board in most places. They got one guy that's supposed to be a first-round draft pick, I believe, one of their corners.
Okay.
Maybe first or second, but I know the NFL is real high on him. So here's the issue. I think we got too many big receivers. I think Pearsall is going to be our guy. And we got a text here wanting to know, Edgar, if you know, is Pearsall a go or no? I'm pretty sure he's playing, right?
It looks like he's playing. He's practicing a week ago. His injury was 3 weeks ago today. I don't know the recovery period on what was reported as a bruised bone in his foot. He might not be 100%, though. You don't know. Look, this is all coming down to Anthony Richardson. Let's just cut to the chase. Anthony Richardson is going to have to be a transcendent player like we saw flashes of. He's going to have to be that a lot this year for this team to win the toughest games. And this is going to be one of them. And I get it. This is a Pac-12 team. The physicality of that league is not what the SEC is. They might be walking into a bit of a buzzsaw themselves in some ways with the heat, the humidity, the crowd. even though we were talking about like a lot of Utah fans are going to be here, they're not going to drown out of 65,000, 70,000 Florida fans, whatever they bring. And it's a big ask for them too. So I'm not going to sit here and act like they don't have a challenge. But this isn't the typical home, opener. Florida might be too physical for this team. I don't know. I don't expect that. I mean, Utah's a physical team by traditionally under Kyle Whittingham. You want to know the crazy thing, man? Kyle Whittingham, and he succeeded Urban Meyer in 2004.
He's still there.
Yeah. Urban Meyer, meanwhile, left here in 2010 under whatever circumstances, and Billy's the Gators' fourth coach since 14. Kind of crazy the stability Utah has compared to the post Urban Meyer years at Florida.
Yeah, and I don't know how many years he was an assistant before he became the head coach there. So he's been with that program for a long, long time. I want to say he was a graduate of BYU, maybe played there.
He was a linebacker at BYU.
Yeah, at Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Edgar Thompson here on the Titan MR hotline. We're getting all these Facebook Lives about Justin Shorter against their smaller corners. Look, man, I don't care how tall you are. There's more to playing corner than your height. And so we'll see.
Well, it's enlightening. I didn't know they were so small.
Well, I mean, they're 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. I mean, that really is not small for most corners. I mean, we have a few that are 6'2".
Got some size at corner.
Say it again.
Marshall, he's 6'1", 198. Kimber's,
right.
A little smaller. Devin Moore, a lot of buzz about him. He's 6'3", 198. So Florida has some big corners.
Right, so, but I don't want people to think just because you're a bigger guy than the corner that he's going to have a field day. So,
no. Question. I have a couple questions for you, man. Unless you got something specific. I do have a couple for you because you have great insights. First off, I asked Amari Burney the challenge of covering tight ends, what problems they pose. And he was like, I don't understand the question. I mean, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but tell me, what is the matchup issues that good tight ends create? Florida has not covered tight ends well.
So this is what I've said. So they play a lot of 12 personnel, which is one back, two tight ends, and two receivers. Okay. You can put both tight ends to one side, your two receivers over there. You can put the two tight ends, one next to the left tackle, one next to the right. There's all kinds of things you can do. What it does is it forces the defense to play with bigger personnel because the average person thinks, okay, they're bringing two tight ends in. What are they going to do? They're going to try to pound us. Okay. So if you bring in an extra linebacker or, you bring your strong safety down, get him in the box, well, now you're really opening up the passing game. And these dudes, as you just said in the stats, can run, catch, and get open. And you're exactly right. We have not had any success lately covering tight ends. And these will be the two best tight ends we face until we see the Georgia Bulldogs. They have probably the best tight end room in the history of college football. It's a huge – to me, it's the biggest concern all day long. Mm-hmm. How are we going to line up, first of all, when they're in their two tight end set? They also play in 13 personnel, one back, three tight ends. Now you really cause some issues for the defense. So it'll be interesting to see what Patrick Toney and them do. But that, to me, is going to be an issue.
It's been an issue for years. I mean, I remember watching David Reese chasing guys around the field.
We haven't had great personnel to be able to cover either. And I don't know if we do. I don't know if we do now.
DeJuan Black is intriguing. He's going to be someone I'm really going to watch closely Saturday night because he's going to have to match up, and he's a high school safety. I don't know if I've shared these stats with you, Shane, and we're going to run out of time as we're going off on tangents, but he had 12 picks for 360 return yards and 3 pick sixes as a sophomore in high school. DeJuan Black. That's like Ed Reed numbers. Mm-hmm. I've always been intrigued by this kid. Don't know if the production's going to finally translate because he hasn't. He had that long road, JUCO road, and last year was mainly special teams. I know he generated a lot of buzz in the spring. I'm intrigued by him. So, and this is going to be a test for him and his coverage skills.
Yeah, there's no question about that. That's the biggest issue. I mean, we know they want to run the football. I mean, they're a hard team to defend because of the tight ends. And I know that sounds crazy in today's world of football when people are looking for these explosive wideouts. But it's anyway. Kerry says here on Facebook Live, you would think Utah would have had higher recruiting rankings the way they're talked about. Well, look, they just perform and win games. And they literally had Ohio State beat last year. I want to say Cam Rising got knocked out of that game, and they still kept it close to the high-powered Buckeyes. But so we'll see. It's going to be interesting. She says here, didn't they struggle in the road games last year? A few until they made the quarterback change. So, look, I'm not saying we're not going to win the game. I don't think people understand that follow football, how good of a football program Utah has. That's all I'm saying.
It is interesting to see. I like the Gator fan comments, recruiting, right? They're finding all the reasons the Gators are going to win, and that's what you do as a fan. But they should come prepared, in my opinion, for, like you said, a very established program that's had a lot of success, and Kyle Whittingham's a very good coach.
Put it this way, I think Utah, and obviously the people that do the rankings think the same thing. Utah's a better football team than Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're better than those teams, and those are SEC teams. Okay? So, Lauren says Rising got knocked out last year with 9 minutes left in the Rose Bowl. I thought he got knocked out. So.
Another question for you, Shane.
Let's hear it.
The difficulty of what Billy Napier has taken on. Billy Napier is one cool customer. He looked calm as could be yesterday. I mean, if he came in panicking, I'd be worried, but he's just very matter of fact. And he had a couple of great quotes early in his thing about, preparation is the key to confidence, and you get what you deserve in life. That's good for everyone on this listening to hear. Think about those words. If think about how many days you wake up and you got loose ends flying, or you're getting off to kind of a shaky start in your day, and it just turns into a mess, and you're like, what happened? Well, it's because you weren't prepared. You need to be prepared for life. Well, he's prepared and going to be. However, how difficult is it to take on all of the responsibilities he is? I mean, he's coaching the QB, plus he's calling plays. What do you think about these coaches? Now, Spurrier was a genius. We know that. Some of these coaches who take on the play calling, Mullen did it, Lane does it, Jimbo. Some are really good at it. What's the challenge there?
Well, I think him being a former quarterback and then having coached as long as he has, I mean, he has a knack of calling plays, and he coaches the quarterbacks. So I love that. Okay. I don't want the wide receiver coach or the running back coach or the O-line coach calling plays for me if I'm playing or if I'm the head coach. So he's in charge. We all know he's got a plan. He's going to stick to it. His preparation is immaculate. That doesn't mean you're going to win games, all the games. But what he has done, as you said, in the 9 months he's been here, I don't think people realize what he's done. I mean, I don't know if the dude has had one day off. I'm sure he may have. Maybe his wife made him. But what he had to do, first of all, to build this team, to get this team to play together, and we got to watch them play together, but just the team bonding, all the stuff they did in the summertime. And then he had to transition into this new facility. I mean, and then recruit football players. So he's had his plate full. He knew that. I think next year will run much smoother for him because they're going to be able to take a deep breath once the season's over and then kind of go with their plan. But look, he knows that we aren't a talented football team. He ain't going to come out publicly and say that, but we all know that. I mean, Edgar, you can tell at his press conferences, but they're going to try to find a way to win games. And it comes down to two things, in my opinion, each and every week this year. Can Anthony be just consistent at the quarterback position? And can the D-line stop somebody? If they do that, they can beat some teams maybe they're not supposed to beat.
Yeah, they need to come out and just be a smooth operation too, because the Gators last year were just a mess some games. They can't come out of the gate like that, and I don't think they will. What he said, to your point, to end on, is you give up a year of your life in these jobs when you are getting a program up and running, and he's done that. So we'll see the results. I mean, 5 days from now or whatever.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Edgar. I'll see you in the press box on Saturday, and take care, my man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Edgar Thompson joining us on the Titan More Hotline. I appreciate everybody joining the program. Make sure tomorrow you join in. We'll have JC. We'll do some Peachland Dental picks, and we'll have Mike Morgan from ESPN. Today's show is a wrap. We'll see you folks tomorrow.
Hey.